I'm pretty sure you know what gun I was talking about, like from the first Iron Banner. The that shotgun had a lot of range, and after that, people were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like they just had this big realization that like you could essentially just get like a shotgun that could shoot absurdly far. Like it was insane how far you could essentially make the damage range of the shotgun increased. The one-shot killing potential range was pretty far. And then they had to do a significant amount of nerfs. They removed shot package as a perk in the game. They didn't take rangefinder off. They did not take... I can't remember any of the other perks off the top of my head that they've removed slash tweaked. Actually, I think they tweaked rangefinder to make it work a little bit differently than it normally did when it came to the guns like that. So yeah, they did a lot of tweaks to make it where shotguns were less effective at range than they were. I mean, you can still get the shotgun one-shot kill range extended a good bit.
Keep on them.
Still very, very good. Just nowhere near as bad as it was. Rocket launchers, I don't think they got any significant changes. Yeah, like I said, it was mostly the primary weapons that got changes. Can't think of very many changes that got done to heavy machine guns either. They did do some changes to Sleeper Simulant, but that was that's one of those weird hybrid things. Fusion rifle, heavy weapon. Well, I believe I've pretty much talked about like the evolution of all the weapon classes at this point. So I guess what I will do now is let's talk about some of the things that I wish they had implemented or that they could have done better. Or well, you'll see what I mean when I start talking about it. But essentially, as we know, they I think they could have done more interesting weapons. Like the designs in the game, as everyone knows, all the weapons look pretty much the same. And you saw in that Destiny reveal trailer, they've definitely, the Destiny 2 reveal trailer, they definitely, and in the game, all the reveal in general that happens on May 18th. We saw that they have considerably changed the look of weapons. And honestly, I think every weapon we saw just looked amazing. Like they really did amazing when it came to making the weapons look different. So I don't think that's going to be a problem anymore in Destiny 2. Although, we'll have to see. Hopefully, it's not a problem anymore. Like hopefully, weapons feel more unique. I mean, it's okay if they keep the aspect where like guns stay in archetypes, but I just want there to be, you know, more gun models to the point where it doesn't feel like you get, you know, the same gun, even, I mean, it's just the same gun with different names, essentially. Whereas, I mean, stat-wise, it'll be the same gun with a different name, but I don't want the actual skin to look the same, is what I'm getting at. So I think they've done a really good job, based on what we've seen in the reveal trailer, to make guns just look real unique and different. mean, everything we saw was extremely different from what stuff looks like in Destiny 1. But I'd like to see more weapon variety as well. Like more stuff like a sniper that goes in your primary slot, like they did with No Land Beyond. Like I'd like to see more like weird weapons like that, and like Vex Mythoclast, a fusion rifle that goes in your primary slot. Just more stuff like that, or maybe at some point there'll be a sidearm that goes in your primary slot, and it's like a Desert Eagle or something, essentially, like just a hard-hitting sidearm. That's not quite a hand cannon, but you know what I'm trying to get at there. Like I'd just like to see more weapons that break the mold, and instead of going in the slot you'd expect them to go, they go in a different slot. I'd also like to see more interesting perks on armor. I can't, like, I mean, I could name something that would be more interesting to put on a piece of armor, like an ability, but I'm not really that good at that thing. Like if I named something, it would probably be like extremely like overpowered or something. It's like, oh, it gives you it gives you invisibility whenever you look at an enemy or something. It's like I can't, like I said, I can't really think of anything that I'd like to see, but I just like to see more unique like perks on guns, just more unique perks in general. Like a lot more perks, more unique perks, stuff like that. Just would like to see a lot more. And there was a lot of perks that we saw, a lot of new ones. Like they may have not necessarily been new ones. Like they changed the name of like all the old perks essentially, and then they've definitely added some new ones. And I mean, we saw in the reveal that essentially Cocoon, the perk that we currently call Cocoon, it's now a normal perk. Like you can just get it on a gun. So that's going to be highly sought after on like everything. You know, it's just be great to get a pulse rifle with Cocoon and Firefly. Honestly, before the Kingsfall raid, I never thought of a hand cannon, excuse me, pulse rifle with Firefly on it. Like anyone who ended up with a pulse rifle with Firefly on it, because Kingsfall was a bit weird. It was the only raid where the like every single raid weapon guaranteed to have Cocoon, but your second perk, and it was odd that they did this, but your second perk would end up being random. And honestly, I felt sorry for anyone who didn't end up getting Firefly as their second perk on the pulse rifle. Oh my gosh, it just works so well with the pulse rifle. Like it works good with a hand cannon. It's perfect with hand cannon, and it's perfect with the pulse rifle. But I mean, if you get Firefly on an auto rifle, it's not anywhere near as good as it's on as it being on something like a pulse rifle, a scout rifle, or a hand cannon. It's like hand cannon, scout rifle, pulse rifle. They're all more of precision weapons. Like you're trying to shoot them in the head when you're using these weapons. Although you're trying to go about it different ways. With hand cannons and scout rifles, you're specifically trying to shoot them in the head for the most damage. Excuse me. For pulse rifles, like I said, you're trying to learn the recoil pattern and get the last bullet in the head. Unless they keep the stability system the exact same as it is, where it impacts your weapon so much that it basically changes the way the thing functions. In that case, then you can just shoot them in the face and land all 3 shots, just like you can in Destiny 1. But, that is what I would like to see regarding weapons and perks. And, yeah, more unique armors as well. They definitely did a great job with making more unique armors toward the end of Destiny 1. Like all the new raid gear and the shaders, not shaders, what's it called? What do they call these? No, that one doesn't have one. Ornaments. The ornaments, like the weapon and armor ornaments. I'd like to see a lot more of those just come to, a lot more unique ones come in Destiny 2. Because you got a lot of plain ones, and then, like I said, just like with the armor, when they finally did the Age of Triumph thing, like they went like all out and they got like extremely amazing designs done for that. But I'd like all of them, or at least the vast majority of them, to just be as unique and interesting as the ones we ended up getting toward Age of Triumph. Also, there was a long time ago, it was data mined, you know, the treasure maps, which I believe, yeah, the adventures and all that junk, that's pretty much like treasure map, essentially, all that junk. It's kind of confirmed in Destiny 2, but like the vehicle shaders and vehicle and like sparrow shaders and junk, like that was something that was data mined, but it never ended up coming to Destiny. I'd like to see the ability to change the color of your vehicle and put up like unique color schemes and junk on them. Like, I'd like to see that in Destiny 2. Which they may have not announced it, but I mean it might already be in there. It might already be in there. If it is in there, I'll be very happy with it. I mean, it should definitely be in there at launch. I mean, every single thing that people data mined that was supposedly supposed to be in Destiny, or at least was in the files at some point, ended up coming into Destiny 1, except for, of course, you know, that rocket launcher dubious volley. It's the only thing that didn't happen. That and the treasure maps and vehicle and sparrow shaders. Well, I suppose a ship and a sparrow are both vehicles, so I can just say vehicle shaders. But everything else came into the game. And of course, like I said, with adventures, like I'm pretty sure the treasure map idea, you know, it's kind of adventures probably is what kind of turned into that and all that. Pretty sure all those might be in Destiny 2 at launch. I mean, they definitely should be. What else? Oh, yes. Swords. They never got any tweaks. I don't think they did. Let's see. Did they? No, I don't really recall them doing any significant like patches on swords or anything. And I don't really have much of anything I'd like to see them improve about sword. Because everything that I would have said, we already saw in the trailer. We saw tons of unique swords. Like they really did a great job of making the swords look unique. I mean, if you want any of the Destiny YouTubers, you've probably seen them just go frame by frame and see those swords, you know. They just did amazing with the sword design. Like I said, weapon designs, they really went all out with the ones that we saw, at least, in Destiny 2, so. Can't really find anything else that I'd like to talk about the evolution of, like, exactly what happened with it. I mean, expanded inventory. Like, don't really feel like I need to talk about that. Everyone Well, I suppose not necessarily everyone knows how that kind of went, because I think more people ended up coming in the end, because they did fix a ton of the problems with Destiny. They fixed just a lot of them around Taken King. Excuse me. I mean, there was a lot of quality of life improvements before then, but after Taken King, like, the quality of life improvements just got better and better and better. And the game became better than it had ever been in some aspects. Ah, yes, yes. One good thing to mention, I believe, Trials of Osiris. Say, dark times befell us when that event happened. Before the Trials of Osiris, the general feel of Crucible, you know, it was amazing. Before Trials of Osiris happened, there was never a single moment where I felt like I died, like because someone like hacked or something. There was not a single moment. I never felt like I died around corners and stuff. Although take this with it's like a ridiculously huge spoonful of salt. Like, take it with like 5 tablespoons full of salt, because it could just be nostalgia. Could just be nostalgia. But before Trials, I feel like in Crucible that I never died because of hacking or any foul play, really. Except for, you know, the shotgun thing, or people were just getting absurd rolls and, like, you know, god tier rolls because of reforging and stuff with their shotgun. But other than that, I pretty much felt like every time I died, it was more my fault than it was the game's fault. But when Trials came out, like, oh my gosh, like, people, like, they just whipped out the worst tactics. Like shotgun bum rushing, stuff like that. It's like every single cheap, dirty trick that you could use to kind of have an edge, or just dirty tricks in general, are using, like,
there's a powerful presence in this vicinity, Guardians.
Brokenly rolled stuff. Like, people were just trying to get, like, the best possible roll. Like, before Trials, I feel like no one was really trying to get god rolls on anything. Like, they kind of just got weapons and they just kind of had them. Except for, like I said, you know, with shotguns, and they're trying to get maximum one-shot kill potential range with shotguns. Whereas, I'd like to say, regarding shotguns, I think Destiny, not Destiny, I think the employees at Bungie, they had the right kind of idea. Like, if I had Invective in my inventory, I could show you this, but essentially, Invective, when you max out its a range, like, if you notice, the perks on there, it should be able to go farther than it actually does. Like, the bar should go farther if you look at what actually all the perks on there do. But essentially what Bungie did is they capped it so that once it reaches
Ikora will be grateful.
A certain point on the range bar, shotguns are not allowed to pass a certain point. And I think the point where they're not allowed to pass on the range chart, let me go into the details. It's about right here in the center of my cursor. It's about not where this hand cannon's range ends. A little bit before that, where the center of my cursor is, about right there. About 1/4 of the range bar is where the maximum range for shotguns is allowed to go. Pretty much. I think it's very smart that they did it that way. That it's literally impossible for it to go farther. However, what I think they should have done, instead of like slapping and nerfing the perks of shotguns, what I think they should have done is they should have just decreased the effectiveness of what that range bar does, like decrease the actual amount the range bar helps with shotguns specifically. Although, I suppose if they could have done that, they would have done that, like, cause, you know, I don't exactly make games, I don't know how coding works, so that may have been much harder to do than what they actually ended up doing. But, that's what I would have tried to do. And maybe that's what they did try to do, but like I said, I've got no idea how coding works. So take that with a grain of salt. No, got any idea how it works? Technically, I don't have any business talking about it, but that's personally what I would try to do. Exact same thing with stability, okay? I tried to just make it where the influence of that bar is less. But, you know, as I said, not a game programmer. You don't know if that would actually be more trouble than it was worth than to just do what they actually ended up doing. However, like I said, like when I was talking about pulse rifles already, they didn't really do anything about the stability. Anyway, like they slapped shotguns when people were trying to get that one-shot kill potential range to be just absurdly far. Like they slapped those down. Like they put shotguns in their place. But honestly, I do not believe a pulse rifle has any business being so stable that all three shots go in the head if you shoot their head. I don't think that's what a pulse rifle is meant to be. But you know, as I said in the previous part of this video, if that's what they want to do, I'm not going to complain about it more than I have in this video. I'm just talking about what I personally would have done, you know, if I guess like my personal suggestion of what I would have done if I was part of the team who was actually working. I suppose that's what I probably would have tried to do. And of course, obviously I have major bias when it comes to pulse rifles in general. Burst fires is my personal favorite in general. That's also like why I like the M16 a lot. But, you know, burst fire. That's where it was born. It's just so good for precision. Yeah, I think that is all the topics that I can personally bring to mind. So pretty much after I kill this spider tank, I guess that will probably be where this video ends. was dead, so I guess I'm done with the video, because like I said, can't really think of anything else. So I suppose if you liked this two-parter retrospective sort of thing where I was just talking about the evolution of weapons and random junk that happened in Destiny over its lifetime, I suppose if you liked it, then like it. If you like subscribing, then do that too. But actually, now that I think about it, there is one more thing I can think of that I wanted to talk about. So, if you didn't know, Destiny actually has a little bit of a stealth system in the game currently. Just a little bit. Where, like, you can actually slip past enemies entirely unnoticed. And of course, no, I'm not talking about the fact that you can go invisible. It's just like, for instance, I can sprint all the way along the back of here, and none of the enemies should notice me, as long as I don't get too close to them, essentially. Like, I can just slip entirely past this whole area, and as you can see, no one's shooting at me, so none of them have noticed me whatsoever. Which I suppose that's kind of obvious, but I'd like to see, just like in Destiny 2, I'd like to see an implementation of an actual stealth system. Because I mean, they do have guns with suppressors. Like, pretty much every pistol has a suppressor, and I believe most of the pistols that actually do, not most, all of the pistols that have suppressors, they do sound, you know, they sound quieter in comparison to pistols that do not have suppressors. So I'd just like to see a fully, or not necessarily fully, but just a more implemented stealth system than there actually is in this game. Although, I suppose technically, the way this game operates, stealth doesn't really matter to begin with, considering it's not like you die very quickly when you get noticed by enemies, and even if you're close to death, it's still rather easy to kind of survive. Like, as you saw in my 2 parts of this whole thing, there were several moments when I got low on health, didn't die at all, even though I didn't step behind cover or do anything like that for long. But yeah, I just really like to see that. Anyway, that's it. If you want to watch any of my other videos, you're welcome to do that. If you want to watch the next one, you can do that too, if you want. But ultimately, that's dictated by you.